The behavior of certain state Democratic parties and the political action committees that can make or break a candidate, like the now infamous Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, has become an issue of heated debate in the run-up to the midterm election and the bitter primary battles that precede it. Much of the frustration and anger about the primaries stem from establishment Democratic bodies deciding to spurn progressive leftist candidates in favor of Democrats in name only, right-leaning conservatives who are willing to espouse a few socially liberal positions and pose as palatable alternative to those politicians who are further down on the blood and soil scale. The most egregious example of this sort of betrayal is the inexplicable decision of the Rhode Island Democratic Party to support an alt-right gun rights advocate, Michael Earnhardt, over labor rights activist Moira Jane Walsh, who is just 1 year into her first term in Congress. Walsh, by all accounts, should be a perfect candidate for Democrats. A former waitress who supports legalizing marijuana, paid sick leave for workers and raising the minimum wage to $15, she found herself backstabbed by her own party in favor of a caricature of the worst kind of Democrat to ever disgrace the name. A vocal gun proliferation advocate, a search of his archived but now scrubbed Twitter account reveals a host of Islamophobic and misogynistic posts and many retweets from prominent alt-right figures like rape apologist Gavin McInnes, Notorious Pete Sageter, and rape apologist Mike Cernovic, and Ann Coulter wannabe professional racist Laura Loomer, a veritable who's who of the most shameless grifters and hateful paranoiacs to ever grace Infowars.com. We are normalizing grooming gangs and creating and lending legitimacy to rape culture by allowing these garbage human beings to live in civilized society. Is the UK government actually stupid? Wrote Earnhardt in a retweet to a Gavin McInnes tweet about Muslim pedophiles, according to Slate. What could explain the bizarre decision to throw the state party's support behind a racist gun nut instead of a progressive labor activist? Walsh believes it's because of her efforts to clean up the legislature and to get her peers to actually do their jobs instead of drinking all day. The drinking. It is the drinking that blows my mind. You cannot operate a motor vehicle when you've had 2 beers, but you can make laws that affect people's lives forever when you're half in the bag. That's outrageous, said Walsh in a radio interview last March, which immediately earned her the ire of her inebriated colleagues. But it's not just her whistleblowing that provokes clashes with her fellow Democrats. Further scrutiny makes it clear that the entire Rhode Island State Democratic Party is dominated by right-wing anti-choice pro-business white male bloodsuckers who masquerade as Democrats while quietly fighting off any threat from primary candidates who actually have the voters' best interests at heart. The Rhode Island State Party endorsed challengers to 3 progressive women in the state legislature who were elected in 2016 while throwing their support behind Representative Carnevale, who has been charged with sexual assault, accused of domestic violence, and under indictment for perjury. This is all very expected with the way our political machine is run in Rhode Island. It only took 2 years to piss off the speaker this thoroughly. I'm pretty impressed with myself, said Walsh of House Speaker Nicholas Mattiello, who is anti-choice and has an A rating from the NRA. Walsh pointed out to The Atlantic that recent polls show that a large percentage of Rhode Islanders have no faith in their elected legislators, and who can blame them after watching their party leaders rat-fuck the very people they elected to try to change things in the state house. In a safe blue state, this kind of behavior from legislators is absolutely unacceptable and goes a long way to explaining voter apathy when it comes time to choose who will pass the laws that affect the lives of millions of people. If the Democratic Party really wants to regain their former status as a political powerhouse, it needs clear and determined message that voters can put their faith in and to rid their ranks of right-wing scabs as quickly as possible.